Don't worry, I'm not doing the whole prime time thing.
Yes, I am. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Welcome to the Dave Cave. I, as always, am Dave. Now, before we get started, if you're new here and you want to stay on top of all things horror, a little bit of heroes like reviews, rants, rankings, and reactions, hit that subscribe and ding the bell so you don't miss a minute. Today, we're going to be talking the entry in the Nightmare on Elm Street series that, for many, is a favorite and the best that we've seen yet. And of course, that means we are talking Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3, Dream Warriors. Dream Warriors is directed by Chuck Russell, stars Patricia Arquette, Lawrence Fishburne, and features the return of Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson. The movie follows this group of kids that, all for their own reasons, have been committed to Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital. But when they are committed all together, they come to find out that they are all being tormented by the exact same son of a bitch dream demon, Freddy Krueger. And then we quickly get Nancy Thompson returning to be this professional, not professional on the topic of dreams. And really, she finds out very quickly that she knows exactly what's going on with these kids. Now, for a lot of people, as I said, this is their favorite. This one's pretty high up there for me. I don't know if it's my favorite, but there's a lot to love, so let's dive right into the good. For my first entry in the good column, it is, again, I'm kind of a sucker for these. It's the intro. I love the intro in this movie. One, they somehow make papier-mâché creepy, which kudos to them for that. But then you go and you find out that she's making the papier-mâché house of 1428 Elm. Awesome touch. And then they go right into a dream, and from that dream, one, that dream is cool. It's a solid dream, puts you right into the whole tone of the movie, but then she wakes up. But she's not awake yet. You get that first touch. They do it a couple of times later in the series, but she wakes up, but then she's not awake. And you get this awesome, sweet link into, well, they jump it into the whole idea that these kids are killing themselves. We know they're not killing themselves, but it's a good link into that because then Kristen is found with a razor looking like she has slashed her own wrist, but we know that Freddy was the big hand and all that. For my second entry in the good column, it is Nancy Thompson. The way she is introduced in this movie, as I said, as this professional, not professional, but she knows what's going on because we know she's dealt with Freddy Krueger, but you can tell that she keeps that part of her past guarded until it's needed. When she needs to help these kids, she brings out her expertise on this man with the dirty brown hat, and all the kids in the group shit their pants that, holy shit, this is a bigger thing than just we're all having the same kind of dream. No, this dude is straight up coming for them. She's a much more prepared person, and she can handle herself a lot better. You take a character that I already loved from the first one, you make her stronger, but then you also, because Heather Langenkamp has had time to grow, you get a much better performance because Heather is a better actor. All around, Nancy Thompson in this movie is fucking awesome. For my third entry in the good column, and I'm not going to go too much into this because it goes in a little bit of, the ugly, but I absolutely love the dream sequences in this movie. You get a lot of them, and again, you get a lot of variety. You get the wizard one, you get the punk one, you get the snake, which I love that snake dream sequence. One, it's terrifying. The idea of Freddy eating you as a gigantic fucking snake. And then you also get the introduction of Nancy back to Freddy, and they both have this holy shit moment where they recognize each other, they know both what's going on, and it's awesome. It's a great little moment, but then the practicals on most of the dream sequences, which we're going to get to in a second, but the practicals on most of the dream sequences in this movie are awesome. And when they don't need to use practicals, the CG's okay. It's passable. It doesn't really take you out too much. It's kind of a sign of the times, but it's well done. Overall, the dream sequences in this movie are awesome, and they lend perfectly to the tension of the film. And for the first time in my reviews, my fourth entry in the good column is the way they give a tangible approach to defeating Freddy in this one. In the last two, it was kind of just bring him down, try to destroy him in kind of like a mystical kind of way, which it's still kind of mystical in this one. But they give the whole approach of take his remains and bury them in hallowed ground, and that way you'll set the soul to rest. I like that idea of bringing in the concept that there's a tangible way to stop him because you have him as a dream demon. We've seen in the last two movies that he's not gone. Whatever they've done, he's not gone. At the end of this movie, you also get a he's not gone kind of moment. I don't think they can help themselves when it comes to that. but they give a tangible idea. They have a actual way that you could kill him, and they have other ways that they come up with late in the series, and of course we're going to get to all that, but I like that. And in that you get more backstory on Freddy. You learn the whole son of 100 maniacs thing, which that whole backstory, when you really think about it, is fucking bananas, but also makes perfect sense that that horrific environment would create somebody that would be Freddy Krueger. Now, even as among the best in the series, Dream Warriors isn't without a couple flaws. So let's get right into, unfortunately, the bad. For my first entry in the bad column, it's the fact that, and this took me out a couple times, I was like, what are they doing? They can't really seem to decide what they want to do with Freddy's voice. Now, I understand sometimes that they will mess with Freddy's voice to make him sound like somebody else, or make it be deep, or make it more scary. That's more when Robert Englund really ramps it up. But in this movie, more than a couple times, it's like they forgot to edit Robert Englund's voice to make it sound like Freddy. Because I know that through these movies, he does all the lines. He delivers it, and then they edit it to make it that deep, dark, just voice that he does. I like that voice. But then when you have these times where he just sounds like he's talking like this, it takes away from the fact that he's being Freddy Krueger. Every time that it happened, I think it happens 2, maybe 3 times, it took me out of it. And there's even one time, I think it's in Will's death, where they go really low with it, and he's talking, and you can tell that they wanted to sound like Freddy, but they just made it sound kind of like Barry White. And it doesn't really fit. For my second entry in the bad column, as I said before, the practicals in the dream sequences are awesome. Most of the time. When they aren't good, they're really noticeable. It's really apparent in Will's death, and then again when you have Nancy's father show up in the dream sequence and he's all gold and glistening, you can see the wires. It's similar to the gripe I have in the first one with Nancy's acting, and how because it's so kind of spotty and everyone else is so good, it really sticks out. The practical effects and the CG effects in this movie, when they're good, they're awesome. But when you have these moments where they're not good, it really sticks out like a sore thumb. It's not like throughout practical effects are okay. No, oftentimes they're awesome. You get the Jessica kill with the TV, the primetime bitch kill, and you get the snake kill, and you get Philip's death. You have awesome practical effects in this movie, and then when it doesn't work, it's shit. I'm sorry, it is. Okay, we're done shitting on Dream Warriors. Now let's get back to the fun with the blood, the guts, the dreams, the ugly. I love the dream sequences in this movie because they are just so awesomely done and they're unique. You don't get anywhere else where someone is forced into an overdose. You don't get somewhere else where someone is picked up off the ground and has their head shoved into a TV. You don't get somebody marionetted off the edge using their fucking tendons. You don't get that anywhere else. And that is part of what makes Dream Warriors so fucking awesome. The kills in this movie are great, and they're ugly, and they're nasty, and Freddy is just fucking sweet. But as awesome and gnarly as the kills are in this movie, it is very easy for me to pick my favorite, and my award for favorite kill of the movie goes to Philip. You start the scene with this awesome little claymation moment where Freddy becomes one of his puppets, comes down, and then goes big and turns Philip into a marionette, which feeds right into the reason he's at Weston Hills, because he's a sleepwalker. And then Kincaid just kind of lets him, go do his thing because he's a sleepwalker. So fuck him. Fuck you, Kincaid, because you let this happen. So then Freddy walks Philip up and really preys on the whole idea in this movie where these kids are all killing themselves, leaves Philip up there, and on top of the fact that that's just messed up, to toy with Philip, leave him on the edge, bring him back, forth, cut it, and let him fall, is you have all the other kids of the group watching this happen. All in all, this is an incredibly traumatizing scene for everybody. Other kills happen, by themselves. People don't see them happen. They see the aftermath, but they don't see them happen. This kill involves everybody that we care about in this movie, at Weston Hills. It's messed up. It's Freddy at his pinnacle of fucking with everybody. It very easily could be one of, if not the best kill in the entire Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Now it is time for my final thoughts on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. It's very easy to understand why so many people consider this to be their favorite and possibly the best of the entire franchise. There's no way you can deny that when you watch this movie. And part of what I like so much about it, and this is beating a dead horse by this point, but I love when the bad guy gets their ass kicked. And what you get in this movie, I wish we had gotten it with more of the Dream Warriors and maybe had a Freddy goes through everybody all at once. But we still got some gnarly kills. When you get these kids going on the offensive against Freddy, when you get Taryn trying to fight him, and you get Will trying to fight him, and you get Kincaid and he has the strength, and you have Kristen, she's got her acrobatics and karate, and you have Joey with his scream that he lets out, you have all these kids willing to fight Freddy. I love that. This movie plays right into my hands of me wanting people to kick the shit out of the slashers in their movies. Which is then interesting because I love the fact that, yes, they do. They give Freddy his what up. But, as Nancy says, she's never seen him so powerful. And these kids aren't any match for him. I'd love to have seen a Dream Warriors Part 2 where kids have been training to go fight Freddy and go kick his ass. Maybe we'll get that in the future. Fingers crossed. What I also found interesting is that this movie, for all intents and purposes, ignores Part 2. Now, I'm not saying that it ignores it, it doesn't mention it. No, Nancy's in this movie. In Part 2, they talk about Nancy being driven crazy. But this is just 1 year after Part 2. They say it was 6 years since Part 1. And in that time, you'd think Nancy would still kind of be crazy and wouldn't be this so renowned grad student who is considered an expert even though she's not really an expert. But we know she's an expert. You wouldn't have that. She'd still be crazy if she was crazy. So they completely ignore that and really make this a sequel to the first one. Luckily, this isn't the last time we see these Dream Warriors, which means that we're going to get ready for Dream Master Part 4. My review for Dream Master will be out on Thursday, so be on the lookout for that. And while you're waiting, go watch my review for the original and Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Both of those are in the description below. And while you're down there, I have links to my Instagram and Twitter. Both at the DaveCave_. I post over there when I'm not posting here. And that is going to do it for me today. Thank you so much, as always, for stopping by the Dave Cave. I will see y'all for Dream Master. But until then, take care.